Hey, what's going on, guys? As you can see, I got a camera now. It's pretty cool. So, so this is a game that's made by Frostkeep Studios, and they're a very new gaming company that was made in 2016, and this is their first game, and as you can see, it's in early access. But so this is their first game. I've gotten a few requests from friends of mine to see if this game was any good. So I thought, hey, why not? I'll do a stream about it. So we can find a server, and then I'll go out about. We can find a server, and then I'll go on about how I stumbled upon it and just what the game is. So we have all these servers here, and you can see how old the server is, aged from as early as 4 days to 1 month, and it goes all the way down. And this is one server no one is playing on that goes to 6 months. But so that's how the worlds are set up, and generally speaking, the game lasts about a month and a half. And think of it kind of like Planet Side 2, stuff like that, where you are working with a group to fight another group for a certain goal, and it's a collaborative effort and takes a while for the whole group to do that thing. So just for the sake of simplicity, I found a server called Thunderborn, and let's make our character on this server. So the whole character process is you have a character, and you can choose between 3 different factions. There's Revenant, Order, and Conclave. And generally speaking, you see more people in Order and Revenant, not as much on Conclave, and these all attract certain groups, pretty much. But as for me, I like playing on Order, and as you can see with the character, you get certain looks dependent upon your area. So I'm thinking of making this a full thing I do every once in a while. Just stream this game. So there's a pretty in detail character customization list here, where we can have the dashing man, but I have a purpose and a goal, and that is to make the most hilarious guy possible. So let's see how this works. Actually, no, wait. Let's make him like ivory colored. Not quite ivory, but like just yellow. And let's see here. Actually, no. Let's stick with making a heroic looking character. So, pale man. I quite like the pale and black look. And just get a badass beard going. Well, that just looks creepy. Stuck between that. Yeah, that one's good. Got your name. And if any of you want to join me, anyone watching this who happens to want the game or already owns the game, then check out Thunderborn. As of right now, the server is already up. The server's brand new. So we're put into the world. We got our little chat, and we have tutorials, which I don't necessarily need the tutorials, so we'll just work from there. So when you start out, you spawn here in this little stone circle, and because this and your first order of business is you want to get to where everybody's going, and you see this little thing here. So the entire goal of this game is to collect. So what I just collected there was a soul, and it was a single soul, and the goal of the game is to collect 100,000 souls, which is why it takes so long. It takes a month and a half, generally speaking. But so I'm just gathering materials right now, and that's the whole name of the game. So story-wise, because this game does have a story, it's 3 separate factions, which you could see in the distance just a minute ago, but Revenant's over there. The Order faction is centered around that tree there, and then there's Conclave, which is centered around a tree over there. And the whole purpose of the game is to develop your skills in weaponry and armors and all that, and collect souls. And the entire idea is that you can collect souls for your faction, or you can take souls from the other faction, but you can only take souls at certain times, and all of that will be explained when these certain times happen. So we have no weapons right now, so we need to run, and we need to find some clothes, and we need to get a whole order of business situated. So this is called the Stronghold, and what the Stronghold is it's this tree which is used to store all of our souls, and it's also our general base of where we do things and where we go. So with that little bit on this entire line needed, you can see that we have 7,307 souls, which is roughly 10% in the first 4 days. So that makes for about, give or take, 40 days to complete if we keep the same rate. So about a month and a half. And here, just showing you around, we have the research facilities, where we get sparks of genius of any category for doing various things. Like, I was adventuring, so I get adventuring sparks. And down the line, we can have cooler and cooler buffs, like Stamina of the Gods, that increases your stamina, which you have 200 of, so it doubles your stamina. And as of right now, it just tells us how to make hunting bows. But the main thing here is we want to upgrade these stations so that we can actually build stuff. And from the way it looks, despite the 4 days, from the way it looks, I may be the first person on this entire server. So that's fun. So we have some ground to cross. So first order of business, we need to make a spirit hatchet, which means we need to make some plant fiber. Luckily for me, you can just punch the plants and you get plant fiber. And you can see in the top, actually you can't see, you're still getting used to the camera, but in the top left, it shows me how much I'm improving in the skill. Like, there's the experience bar on the bottom, and there's specific skill experience being shown in the top left. Which I wonder if I can move that? Or maybe move the camera? I don't know. But, so we're just collecting plant fiber right now. And we should have enough to make a spirit hatchet. Okay, sweet. So now we can cut down the trees. And it really does feel like no one else has been on the server, so I feel like I got my work cut out for me here. But it's a whole thing where you're just surviving, keeping your needs at bay with the food and water over there, and then while also helping your faction succeed. And that's the tree. So with the story of the game, the story is highly based in medieval culture and Nordic times with its lore, and in the sense that you're essentially a Asgardian who has fallen from Asgard and has to survive on this land, and whoever collects enough souls can go back. And as you can see from the top, that crackling, crunching upper world is Asgard in the game. So another cool thing is that with the game you can differentiate between the type of resources you want. So with these trees, you can see that I'm gathering sticks by hitting it, and I'm pressing the left mouse button for that. But if I wanted to go to this tree and press the right mouse button, I'm getting whole wood logs out of it, which makes for some really cool discoveries, because I didn't know that when I first started out, and then now I know it, and it's like everything is so much easier. So then there's a spirit mallet. The spirit mallet, first we can make a bow, which we need. I need to make some food. We can get some rough arrows. And we need some flint for those tools. And flint is gathered by right-clicking the stones. And now we can create both of those tools. And now all of our tools are in order. So we have the pick, the axe, the hammer, and the sickle. So, we have our rough bow with a handful of arrows. And what I want to make first is the logger's area. But first, in order to do that, I need to get some food. And as of right now, the only way to get food is to hunt. You can't farm for anything or do anything like that. So got those guys. And I believe these guys are called grunters, the pigs. And if you left click them, you get meat, and if you right click them, you get leather. And unlike with the leather, with the meat, you have a chance of getting some rare items off of them, or retrospectively rare. Or I'm not sure if that's the word, but they're rare in the sense that you can't really, well, they're rare in the sense that they come in once every like 5 to 6 hits, but they're not too rare. They're just rare enough. So with the levels, we can actually go to talents, and we have these little boxes. So out of these 4, I think I want to be an assassin, and we can also choose a secondary one. I think I want to be an assassin. Stamina generation's pretty good. An assassin pathfinder sounds pretty cool. Yeah. So harvest speed. Oh, that's really cool. An assassin, we get reload time and max range. These are both really cool. I think I'll keep these. Reduce damage taken from falling by 10% per rank, so for a total of 50% fall damage reduction. Instantly roll forward 5 meters. I don't know if the movement speed's that great though. Pathfinder. After reduce stamina drain from sprinting for you and your mount by 5% per rank. Oh, this is really good. And I want to dump everything into that, because a flat 10% skill experience increase at the very beginning is a huge boon. Now, I need to drink up, get some water. And a lot of these guys are way too hard for us to fight right now, like the giant foxes and the giant mammoth wildebeest type things. So, as of right now, our main goals are to upgrade up everything, maybe make a wall around this area, and lastly, get some food. A somewhat essential part of a balanced lifestyle. You need cement for that? What? Yeah, and a lot of these are not going to get made anywhere near the time we have right now. So, water skins, noble gold. I think we want to do stonework techniques. We don't have enough for any of that. So here's the forge where you would smelt your ores, and the hunter's lodge is where you would upgrade gear and create new gear. The spirit stables allows you to create items to tame mounts, and yes, every single creature except for one, I believe. No, there's a few creatures you can't tame, but you should be able to tame 90% plus of the creatures in this game. So a big thing right now, we need to get a campfire so we can not starve to death. And that's the goal. To not die. So, in order to get there, we need to make a stick basket, which means we need sticks. And after the stick basket, which will be done momentarily, alright, stick basket, and then we need a rough wood log. We need some more for when we actually get our campfire started. We also need some flint. And some crumblestone, which is the left hand, or the left trigger adaptation for stone. And I'll get some more crumblestone because we might need more of that. So let's just set up a little area here. Got our little stick basket. And any placeables expire in 72 hours, so that's 3 days for you to use whatever you have to its full potential, and then it's gone. And it's designed to be that way because if anybody knows the internet, you will know that there's going to be that one guy that creates 500 stick baskets and puts them around the entire stronghold, which would actually be a pretty good strategy to fend off attackers if they see you have an ungodly amount of everything. So we can make ourselves this torch. We don't want to make a second one. And some crumblestone. And we can also make ourselves some pants, which we need. Alright, so we got a campfire, and in the campfire we'll put some fuel in there. What? My meat's decayed. Oh no. Looks like I need to go hunting again. Alright. I think I'll hunt one of these big ones. So, another thing that almost any attacking creature can do this. I think there's certain creatures that actually can't do this. But as you can see, that grunter applied a deep wounds effect over me, which is basically bleed damage. And what the bleed damage does is it slowly takes my health away. So under first aid, I can create bandages to help with that. And yeah. So, your general survival game, but the thing I like about this game the most is it's a survival game with a purpose. You're not just standing around. So, under basic survival, we need poorly cooked meat and rock salt. It just looks like it's being made. Let's try that out. So you can make a little bit of salt cured meat. There's also watermelons hanging around that you can eat. What is this? Feasting. And the thing about salt cured meat is that it also reduces your hydration because of salt, apparently. So, yeah. Next order of business, let's just get a whole bunch of raw fibers so we can make ourselves some clothes. And again, having these skill ups are going to help out a lot in the coming days. Yeah, this is a fun thing I want to try because I've never streamed before. And it seems like a fun thing to do. So, yeah. If you guys want to tell me whether or not you like it, I'll do some more of it. Oh, and also, I've been gone for a while. I believe it's been 3 weeks to possibly a month since I've put anything up. And the reason for that is I set myself up on kind of a schedule for YouTube and all that, and not even anywhere near far into that schedule, it hit me hard. Like, I said I'd be posting 2 things a day, which is 14 videos a week. And I'm in spring break right now, but before that, that required me to make 14 videos in a weekend, as opposed to making 2 videos a day, and scheduling it to post up at a given time. And that worked for the first week, and I was really happy with that. It worked for the first handful of days of the first week, and then it fell short. And then I tried to do some more in the second weekend, and it fell short again. But thinking, like, it's not exactly possible for me in my current situation to do that. And the reason for that, quality would go down to hell. And I don't even have a starting point for quality yet, so that's real bad. But mostly, like, it's a time commitment that I can't make to it right now. And don't get me wrong, I want to make a time commitment to it, but with current situation, I can't make that time commitment. And it all comes down to making 14 10-minute videos. So that's 140 minutes, which is two and a half plus hours, because you don't always have the pure 10-minute video. You sometimes got like 20 minutes, or 15, and stuff like that, which makes this content a lot more. This content's very much more lengthy because it's a stream, and streams are just like that. But the main problem with it is that YouTube, you can only upload. So, as of right now, with my computer, with the amount of storage my computer has, I can make 3 videos and take up a total of about an hour and a half. I can take a total of about an hour and a half in video before my computer runs out of storage. And that requires me to, whenever I get 3 videos out, 4 videos generally, within that hour and a half, it has to go right back into YouTube. And that process takes surprisingly long. For a 20-minute video, it'll take you to maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. But most likely more than that to actually get the video out. So once the video's out, I can delete that from my computer in a sweat. Although I should probably store it, but who knows. But yeah, once the video's out, it's not my problem on my hardware and on my computer. So that requires me to essentially play for an hour and a half and then off for 2.5 hours. So a total of 4 hours for 3 videos. And having to make 14, let's just say 15 for the sake of rounding up and having the numbers work and all that. So if I had to make 15 videos in a week, in a weekend, I would need to spend 4 hours times 5 different cycles of going through YouTube for that, which would come out to 20 hours. So that making the YouTube videos would essentially be my entire weekend aside from sleeping and eating. Because you take sleeping out, you have 16 hours in a day. You take eating out, you have maybe 14 hours? Depends how fast you eat, depends how long you stay at the table, depends if you're talking to people, but yeah. So with that in mind, you have 28 hours in a weekend. And I have school and all this other stuff during the week. I don't want a weekend job necessarily. So I'll be posting, and I'll be posting consistently content on YouTube. But from here on out, I'll be posting consistently on YouTube. But it will not be once a day, twice a day, and probably not even once every other day. I'll probably post one thing I started that I ended up really liking, even though it's just one video long. But I reviewed a VR game once every Tuesday, and that was really cool to me. I liked that a lot. And I think I'd like to do more of that. And I don't know if I'll be continuing Skyrim. I don't know if I'll be continuing Stonehearth or anything else I was doing at the time. But as of right now, that's how it is. And yeah, if anybody's actually looking towards my content and looking forward to it in the week, then I'm sorry if something that you like is cut out, but I'll be posting regularly again, and that's what's important, right? But yeah, so this game, made by Frostkeep Studios, and it's a really big thing for me because they're a new developer and it's an early access game and I want to support it. But moreover that, there's 3 main guys in Frostkeep Studios who started it in the first place, and they're all co-founding. But they all branched off from really high-end video game companies. Like, one of them worked on WildStar, the MMO, and another worked on World of Warcraft and Blizzard. And there's just so much overall expertise there that if they wanted to make their own business, I really wanted to support that. And I'm big into supporting little developers and developers just starting out, because that's a big thing for me. And I want to become a video game developer and have a business where I make stories and I tell stories. And so that's a huge thing for me. Like, I want to support the people that I could potentially be working with and looking up to. And it just seems fun. So yeah, another big thing is that Souls only come out either during a reckoning, which I'll explain what that is, or during night. And there's also certain skills you can get where if you mine stone, you have a chance of souls coming out of it. If you mine plants, you have a chance of coming out. If you harvest plants, you have a chance of coming out of it. And souls show up in groupings. So a single soul grouping, if I can find it, because I just saw one, I picked it up and I didn't think of the example beforehand. But if I can find another soul grouping anywhere here. Okay, hold up. So we have souls. There we go. Soul grouping. So this soul grouping, and it's lightly pulsing and floating around and just being all like that. And that gives us one spirit. And there are other soul groupings where it's pulsing a bit brighter and it'll give you 2 souls. And there's heavily pulsing ones that give you 8, and light and slightly lighter that give you 4. And I don't think there's any 16 unless it's during a reckoning. And so what a reckoning is for each and every server, there's 2 times a week, whether it be, I believe for this server, it's Wednesdays at 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. and Sundays from 10 to 11. I'm not so sure about those numbers, but that's just how, that's what I think it is. The days are definitely right though, but either way, it's a time where it's nighttime for the whole hour, and I believe the cycles normally are about 20 minutes to 20 minutes, day and night, maybe 15, but it's nighttime for the whole hour, and the shield walls on your stronghold go down. And when they go down, you have to fight waves of enemies called the Lost. And the waves last for about 10 to 15 minutes. The waves last for about 10 to 15 minutes. But after the waves are done, the barricades are still down, your defenses are down, and the other factions can get into your base and steal souls from your tree. So, big thing about that is that is the most efficient way to get souls. You will, in any time in this game, aside from Reckoning, you will never get enough souls to justify not attacking the other person's base. Because you could, in an entire 2 hours of playing this game normally, you could get maybe 50, 60, if you're lucky, 100 souls. But in the 40 minutes you have of just being at the other person's base, you could easily get 1,000 souls. 2,000 souls. So there's no possible reason not to invade them if you have the power to do so. If you have high power weapons and high power everything like that, you can definitely invade them, and you can definitely have a chance of winning. Because they, main thing, you have these bows, and you have other weapons that you can fight with, and while it's all well and good to use that on the grunters over there, it's generally designed towards the end to fight the higher level enemies and to fight other players. Another thing really cool about this game that I like is that everything is sort of spaced out in just the way you would want it when playing a game. And what I mean by that is, currently right here, closest to the Sanctuary Stronghold, these are the easiest enemies to fight. We have grunters, and even the giant ward foxes over by the water, and even the Ixen, which, swear to God, I would die immediately if I tried to fight right now. And here's what I was talking about. It pulses a lot more, and it gives you two spirits. But yeah, so everything over here, generally speaking, if you look at them, like cross-reference that with the rest of the guys and rest of the enemies in the game, they're pretty easy. But if you go more towards these mountainous areas with the trees, or more towards the tree, Yggdrasil, in the middle, you're going to get harder enemies. And how the map is spread out, another thing I really like is you don't have any mini-map to show you where you are, and it's entirely a landmark game. So how the map is spread out, it's basically you have these low grass areas here, which is, I forget the name, Hearthstoned, I think. And then you have these mountainous forested areas where you get a lot more wolves and you get a lot more harder enemies to fight. And that just fully encloses in this big U shape around the low grassy area. And then further on this side you have the swamps, which you can see just over there. And further on this side you have the fungal forests, which have diseased enemies. But there's also benefits to going to each. Like, the place where you get the absolute most tough leather is the swamp, because the enemies there, pretty much all, except for the giant flies, have tough leather. And the fungal forest is the only place to get silk in the entire game. And silk is used to make certain armors and craft certain things with that. And tree Yggdrasil, you could actually get to that, which you wouldn't imagine you can based on like initially coming in, but you can get right underneath the roots of that tree, which is pretty cool. And you have the highlands up here, and the highlands fully encircled tree, and then closer to the tree you have Hearthstoned, which is the giant snowy mountains, again fully encircling the tree, and then you have the roots of Yggdrasil past that. So it's really cool. And further past the swamp you have a secondary area where you can get like volcanic rock and stuff like that. But I just felt like posting about this. I got some friend recommendations about the game or not about the game, but asking me about the game and wanting to know about it. So this is a response to them. And if you want to see me flesh out this area, or you want to see me go to my main server, which my main server is almost done. I feel like we're about a month and 1 weekend, and I feel like we're about right there on the souls count. So once we complete that, unless you want to see it beforehand, but once we complete that, I may start on that server, because this server doesn't look like it's going to have a lot of people, just entirely based on the server being open for 4 days, and the first few days are the most important for getting everything set up, and there's actually no one that showed up for the order side of the fight. It's a little concerning. Wait, actually, we can actually see this. So social and show offline. So it's me and Trippy. We're the only people on order right now, and order can house 20, but generally you get a lot more people than 20. So yeah, if you like it, I can play more. And it's a lot cooler with other people, so I may go to the other server regardless. And yeah, so let me know what you want in any comments in the YouTube video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to you later.